Okay, so hello everyone. We are going to present Pollito Chicken, a literary text written by Ana Lydia Vega. Okay, so we are Brito Nahuel, Frias María, Juárez Santiago, Maldonado Dina, Salazar Maribel, and Sergio Vargas. Okay, so Pollito Chicken was written in 1977 by Ana Lydia Vega. It is Spanglish because of its language and cultural edition, and also it is the first text told in Spanglish.
Now let's talk about the title. Did you know why the short story is called Pollito Chicken?
No.
Okay, so as my classmates
Um,
say, yes?
well, I think it makes reference to what Dina think mentioned about Spanglish and pollito and chicken has to be with the idea of Spanglish or talk Spanglish, speak Spanglish.
Yes. Pollito Chicken is a children's song in which the lyric is alternate between English and Spanish. So the title represents that mix of English and Spanish by which the text is written. It was written by Ana Lydia Vega, who is a Puerto Rican writer that was born in December the 6th in San Juan, Puerto Rico. As writer of fiction and non-fiction, she sought to distinguish the Caribbean identity and to create a distinctively Puerto Rican literature. She received the Emilio Belevar Award for the short story Pollito Chicken and the Caso de las Americas Award for Encancara Nublado. Also, migration to the United States is one of the current themes in her stories.
Okay, now we are going to read the text. And so if you have the dossier or the PDF, could you please go to the page 101? There we have the text Pollito Chicken.
Okay, wait a minute,
Yes.
please.
If
Let
you
me
don't have
know.
the book near, you can read from
Yeah,
the
you can
screen.
read from the presentation too if you don't have the book.
Yeah, that's a better option.
Yes, it is.
I'm ready.
Ready? Okay. Okay, so now I'll begin with the text. Pollito Chicken by Ana Lydia Vega. Okay. I really had a wonderful time, dijo Susie Bermúdez a su jefe tan pronto puso un Spike Hill en la oficina. San Juan is wonderful, corroboró el jefe con benévola inflexión, reprimiendo ferozmente el deseo de añadir. I wonder why you speaks don't stay home and enjoy it. Todo lo cual nos pone en el aprieto de contarles el surprise return de Susie Bermúdez a su native land tras 10 años de luchas incesantes. Lo que la decidió fue el breathtaking poster de fomento que vio en la travel agency del lobby de su building. El breathtaking poster mentado representaba una pareja de beautiful people holding hands en el funicular del Hotel Conquistador. Los beautiful people se veían tan deliriously happy y el mar tan strikingly blue y la puesta de sol. No olvidemos la puesta de sol a la Winston Tastes Good. La puesta de sol tan shocking pink en la distancia que Susie Bermúdez, a pesar de que no pasaba por el barrio a pie ni bajo amenaza de ejecución por la mafia, a pesar de que prefería mil veces perder un fabulous job antes que poner Puerto Rican en las applications de trabajo y morir de hambre por no coger el welfare o los food stamps, como todos esos lazy, dirty, no good bums que eran sus compatriotas, Susie Bermúdez, repito, sacó todos sus ahorros de Secretaría de Housing Project de negros, que no eran mejores que los New York Puerto Ricans, pero por lo menos no eran New York Puerto Ricans, y abordó un 747 en raudo y uninterrupted flight hasta San Juan. Al llegar, se sintió all of a sudden como un Frankfurter girando dócilmente en un horno de cristal. Le faltó aire y tuvo que desperately hold on a la imagen del breathtaking poster para no echar a correr hacia el avión. La visión de aquella vociferante crowd disfrazada de colores aullantes y coronada por kilómetros de hair rollers lo obligó a preguntarse si no era preferible coger un bus o algo por el estilo y refugiarse en los loving arms de su grandma en el countryside de Lares. Pero, on second thought, se dijo que ya había hecho reservations en el Conquistador y que Grandma, bastante bitchy que había sido, after all, con ella y Mother 10 años ago. Por eso Dad nunca había querido, además de que Grandma no podía verlo ni en pintura porque tenía el pelo kinky, casarse con Mother, por no cargar con la cruz de Grandma, siempre enferma, con headaches y espasmos y athlete's foot, rheumatic fever y golondrinos all over y miladores dolemas. Por eso fue también que Mother se había llevado a Susie para New York, y thank God, porque de haberse quedado en Lares, la pobre Mother se hubiera muerto antes de lo que se murió allá en el Bronx, y de algo seguramente worse. Susie Bermúdez se montó en la station wagon de Hotel Conquistador, que estaba cándido de full blood, flower shirted, bermuda shotted continentals, and Polaroid cameras colgando del cuello. Y, sería porque la station wagon era air conditioned, se sintió como si estuviera bailando un foxtrot en la azotea del Empire State Building. Pensó con cierto amusement en lo que hubiese sido de ella si a Amada no se le ocurre la brilliant idea de emigrar. Se hubiera casado con algún drunken bastard de billar, de esos que nacen con la caneca incrustada en la mano y encierran a la fat, ugly housewife en la casa con 10 screaming kids entre los erotic muslos mientras ellos se hacen pretty body y le aplanan la calle a cualquier shameless bitch. No, thanks. Cuando Susie Bermúdez se casara, porque maybe se casaría para pagar menos income tax, sería con un straight all-American, Republican, chart-going, Wall Street businessman como su jefe, Mr. Bumper. Porque esos sí que son good husbands y tratan a sus mujeres como real ladies, criadas con el manual de Amy, Vanderbilt y todo.
Por el camino observó, nevertheless, la transformación de Puerto Rico. Le pareció very encouraged aquella proliferación de urbanizaciones, fábricas, condominios, carreteras y shopping centers. Y todavía esos filthy, no good, communist terrorists se atrevían a hablar de independencia. A ella sí que no le iban a hacer shallow ese crap. Con la atrasada y underdeveloped que ella había dejado esa isla 10 años ago. Aprender a hablar good English, a recoger el trash que tiraban como savages en las calles y a comportarse como decent people era lo que tenían que hacer y dejarse de tanto fuss. El conquistador se le pareció como un castillo de los Middle Ages surgido de las olas. Era just what he has always dreamed about. Su intempestivo one week leave comenzó a cobrar sentido ante esa ravish news. Tan pronto hizo todos los arrangements de rigor. Susie se precipitó hacia su deluxe suite para ponerse el sexy pulcado bikini que había comprado en Bimbers especialmente para esta fantástica ocasión. Se pasó un peine por los cabellos teñidos de wild oven y desrizados con curly. Se pintó los labios de Bicentennial Red para acentuar la blancura de los dientes y se frotó una gota de Even in the South Seas detrás de cada oreja. Minutos después, sufrió su primer down, cuando le informaron que el funicular estaba out of order. Tendría que sustituir la White Sanded Pine Line Beach por el pentagonal Swimming Pool, abortando así su exciting sueño de breathtaking poster. Más, such is life, se dijo Susie, y aquello, una sage long, a orillas, sorry, y alquiló una sage long a orillas del pentagonal swimming pool, just beside the guard. El mozo le sirvió al instante un typical drink llamado piña colada, que la sorprendió very positively. Ella pertenecía a la generación del bunny y al guarapo, que no eran precisamente what she would call sus typical drinks favoritos. Alrededor del pentagonal swimming pool abandonaba, por sobre los full blood Americans, la fauna local. Un altoparlante difundía Meliflua Music from the Tropic, cantado por un crooner de wavering voice and disgusting poleta English, mientras los atléticos Latin specimens modelaban sus bíceps en el trampolín. Susie Bermúdez buscó en vano un rostro pecoso, un ribungo crew cut hacia el cual dirigir sus batientes eyelashes. Unfortunately, el grupo era predominantly senil, compuesto de middle class, suburban Americans, estrenando su primer cheque de Social Security. It's the you puertorriqueña, ¿no verdad? Preguntó un awful hombrecito de no más de 3 feet de alto, emborujando como un guiño niño en una imitación de P. Ricard en Mini Suite. Sorry, murmuró Susie, con magna indiferencia, y poniéndose los sunglasses, abrió el bestseller de turno en la página exacta en el que el negro haitiano hipnotizaba a su víctima blanca para efectuar su primitive bottle rise sobre su naked body.
Tres piñas coladas later, y post-violación de la protagonista del bestseller, Susie no tuvo más remedio que comenzar a inspeccionar los native specimens con el rabo del ojo, y sería seguramente porque el poolside no era air-conditioned. Fue así que nuestra heroína realized que los looks del bartender calentaban más que el sol de las 3 o'clock sobre un techo de zinc. Cada vez que los sturgeon breasts de Susie amenazaban con brotar como dos toronjas maduras del bikini bra, al hombre se le querían salir los eyeballs de la cara. Hubo como un subtle espadeo de looks antes de que la tímida y ladylike New York Housing Project Secretary se atreviese a posar la vista de los hairs del tarsánico pecho. In the meantime, los ojos del bartender descendían one-way elevators hacia parajes más fértiles y frondosos, y Susie Bermúdez sintió que la empujaban fatalmente a la hora del más febril rush, hacia un sudoroso, maloliente y alborotoso streetcar named Desire. Tan confused quedó la blushing young lady tras este discovery que, recogiendo su Coppertone Suntai Oil, su beach towel y su terry cloth bata, huyó desperately hacia el deluxe suit y se cobijó bajo los refreshing mauve bedsheets de su cama queen size. Oh my God, murmuró, sonrojándose como una frozen strawberry al sentir que sus platinum frosted fingernails buscaban independientemente de su voluntad el teléfono, y con su mejor falseto de executive secretary y la cabeza girándole como desbocado merry-go-round, dijo, "This is Miss Bermudez, room 306. Could you give me the bar, please?" "May I help you?" inquirió una virile baritone voz con acento digno de comisionado residente en Washington. Esa misma noche, el bartender confesó a sus buddies jangueadores del lobby que, La tipa del 306 no se sabe si es gringa o puertorra, brother. Pide room service en inglés legal, pero cuando la pongo a gozar, abre la boca a gritar en boricua. ¿Y qué dice? Respondió cual coro de salsa su fan club de ávidos aspirantes a tumba gringas. Entonces, el admirado mamitólogo narró cómo, en el preciso instante en que las Platinum Frosted Fingernails se incrustaban passionately en su afro, desde los skyscrapers inalcanzables de su ultra-uterine orgasm, los half-opened lips de Susie Bermúdez producían el sonoro mugido ancestral de ¡Viva Puerto Rico libre! That's all.
Okay, now I'll, you know, tell you the plot summary as a kind of like a summary so you get better the story, okay? So the short story is about Susie Bermudez, Puerto Rican, native born, I mean, that lives in New York. She didn't came back to Puerto Rico like for 10 years, but then she suddenly decides to go back to Puerto Rico, you know? When she arrives to Puerto Rico, she immediately goes to the hotel room that she booked. There she go to lay to lay out by the pool, you know. There she reads a book. However, in one point she realizes that the bartender is looking at her, is checking her out, you know. An important thing in the story is that through the whole story, it is made clear that she doesn't think very highly about Puerto Rican people, about other Puerto Rican people, but she does think highly about American people. Well, let's go back to the bartender. He's checking her out. When she realizes, she kinda start to desire him too, you know. Then she goes back to her hotel room. She goes down to the bar to for room service. Then here the narrator of the story changes. Now the end of the story is told to his friends by the bartender. He says that when he went to give the room service, he ends up sleeping with Susie, and he also tells his friend that he didn't know if she was a Puerto Rican woman or not until in orgasmic pleasure she screams the that phrase that was at the end, like "Viva Puerto Rico Libre" or something like that. Well, that's the end of the story. I hope it helped you to get it better. I hope really. And well, now my classmate Dina is going to continue with the presentation.
Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the main character, that is Susie Bermudez. As Nahuel already said, she's a Puerto Rican immigrant. Now she lives and works in New York. In the story, it tells that the memories about her past, her family, about Puerto Rico, made her feels embarrassed and tedious and shameful because of her own identity, her own culture, her roots, you know. So she now feels proud to emigrate to New York. Also, in the story, we can notice a human conflict inside her because um, the first step that she made is the acculturation when she goes, okay, to New York and learn and acquire all these new values, beliefs, even religion or styles, okay, and create a kind of a new identity. So this is the basis of how we can describe the conflict about the main character, Susie Bermudez.
Okay, now I am going to talk about the themes. In this story, we find two themes: female sexuality and the lack of the Puerto Rican identity. The text deals a little about of the female sexuality, since the main character, Susie, at the end of the story, she satisfies her sexual need, and at the same moment that she has an orgasm, she has a kind of acceptance of being Puerto Rican. Uh, but the central theme is the lack of the Puerto Rican identity, because the main character, Susie, who is Puerto Rican, but currently lives in New York, and she decided to um, take the vacation trip to Puerto Rico. The reality is that the Susie, despite being Puerto Rican, she has taken an ethnocentric vision, adopting the American culture as the language, the lifestyles, and the social cultural context, and leaving the Puerto Rican culture behind. We can see this at the beginning of the story, where she say that the American people uh, are better than those from Puerto Rico, and that she is happy to have left Puerto Rico. And that's all.
Okay, so now we will talk about different key terms that we studied during classes. Okay, so well, we took different quotes from the text that reflect those kind of terms. For example, cultural colonization, y todavía esos filthy no good communist terrorists se atrevían a hablar de independencia. A ellos sí que no le iban a hacer swallow esa crap. So here it makes reference to the process of changing um, that those communist terrorists want to talk about independence, that to make reference changes in traditions, their behavior, customs, and so. Next, please. The other term is subaltern. Okay, we have two cases. Y morir de hambre por no coger el welfare o los food stamps. Como todos esos lazy, dirty, no good bums quedan sus compatriotas. And the other one, se hubiera casado con algún drunken bastard de billar, de esos que nacen con la caneca incrustada en la mano. Susie here describes them as those marginal people that live in a lower social class, that they don't have enough money or a good manners, or enough money, okay, to enter to the higher class. Well, the next one, Benjamin is going to continue.
Yes, well, I'm gonna talk about this. First of all, we have the diaspora. Okay, remember that diaspora, we relate this concept to the forcible or voluntary movement of the people from their hometowns into a new region. Okay, this is a central historical feature of the colonization. In this case, we have this extract that it says. Por eso fue también que Mother se había llevado a Susie para New York. Thank God, porque de haberse quedado en Lares, la pobre Mother se hubiera muerto antes de lo que se murió allá en el Bronx y de algo seguramente worse. In this case, we are talking that they moved from their hometown, okay, in Puerto Rico, to a place in the United States. Okay, so next concept that we saw that we can analyze in this story, we have mimicry and the demonic other. Okay, first things first, we have to say that mimicry is that, let's say, ambivalence, okay, of the culture in which the superior culture wants the inferior one to mimic its values, traditions, and etc. And then we have the demonic other in which the superior culture will treat the other ones as savages, okay, as the evil. So, in this case, we have this track that says, aprender a hablar good English, a recoger el trash que tiraban como savages en las calles y a comportarse como decent people era lo que tenían que hacer y dejarse de tanto fuss. Okay? So in this case, we're talking that uh, the ones who come from an inferior culture, let's say the Puerto Ricans in this case, they had to mimic, okay, their culture from the United States, let's say in this case. So, and you go to the next one. Okay, in this case, we have two cases of othering. Okay, this is the way in which the superior culture, the colonizers, describe the others. Okay, so first thing, the first extract says, Dad nunca había querido, además de que Grandma no podía verlo ni en pintura porque tenía el pelo kinky, casarse con Mother. And the other one says, Usted es puertorriqueña, ¿no verdad? Preguntó un awful hombrecito de no más de 3 feet de alto, emborujado como un guineo niño en un imitation Pecadian minisuit. Perdón, murmuró Susie con magna indiferencia. In this case, we see, okay, uh, we can see how they depict, okay, the other ones, the ones that come from the outside, let's say, from the superior culture, okay? And you can move to the next one. So it says activities time. Okay, we're going to upload the activities. Okay, that we want you to do. So first of all, you can ask me if you like. Do you like the Spanglish that they used in this story?
It was difficult to follow the
Yes.
story.
Was it difficult or easy to follow the story?
I think
Actually,
it was easy. There were some words I don't know, but it was generally very a very edible text, you know? And I also really liked the theme of the lack of Puerto Rican identity. I think I may have to read it once again to find an example, but I really like the idea of talking about this lack of identity, you know, because I think that we don't really know if Puerto Rico is a country, a modern colony, as it was said in the TikTok you presented last class. And I think that the fact that it is written in Spanglish shows this idea in a way, you know.
Thank you. Okay, you want to say something, David?
yeah, I was about to say that it reminded me quite a lot to Mexican situations. I don't know if you have seen these movies that they play in Golden Channel. It's Mexican movies, and they speak like this, in this way in Spanish, because they don't feel like they are completely Spanish, and they are not completely English people, so they speak in this Spanglish, and they're always being treated like they don't have an identity. So that kind of took me to that place and remembered to that. So I found it quite enjoyable.
Okay, thank you. So, these will be some activities. We're gonna upload these activities, and we hope that you like one of those activities because you will have a lot of fun. Okay, at doing that.
It
Uh,
depends on your creativity.
yes, it depends on your creativity. So we hope you like it, and that's all.
That's all, guys. Thank you.
Okay,
Thanks,
great.
Thank you.
thanks for
Okay.
You.
listening,
Bye
guys.
bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.